Hello, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing day. This is Ceci from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Thank you for stopping by. So, I made a commitment last month that I will do a challenge from start to the end. And spoilers alert, I did it. I was able to complete something. I don't know if you have that issue, but it's hard for me to commit to something and actually do it, or even when it's a challenge, like a YouTube challenge or something. It's it's hard for me, but I'm proud that I actually finished it, and I'm going to show you what I did, the decks that I used, and I'm going to put the link of the original challenge on the description box. So, why did I do that? Why did I do this to me, to myself? Basically, I want to bond more with my decks. I want to use my decks more. I want to understand them better, and you know that each one of them has a personality, right? So I wanted to put that into the test because this this challenge is a shadow work challenge, and even though now in Argentina we are in spring, it's not necessarily dark season or anything, but I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to commit to it. So remember that I will put the questions, not the questions. I will put the challenge, the link of the challenge on the description, and it has all of the questions. And I also put that into a doc, a Google Doc that you can download for free, obviously. But I will tell you which decks I have used for the process. So it's a 31-day challenge, as you will be able to see on the link, and I have done it from beginning to the end in this notebook. I have it all day by day, but um, life and work and everything. I didn't do it. I did it. I started on the first and I finished it on the 31st, but there were some days, work and things, that I couldn't do anything. So there were other days that, because it was like super hard, I couldn't make what like more than one day per day. And there were other days that I was like super blah 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 blah, blah super chatty. So yeah, I did a few days in a row. But I also separated it. I hope I'm explaining myself. And you want to see decks, right? I said I said that I was going to show you which ones I used. So it has, let me show you quickly. So it has like these prompts, and this is the tree of life that you get from it. And it's on that document that I'm going to share with you on the description box. So the first question, so it has things so that you can write a lot to yourself and tell yourself things that you didn't know. That's the shadow work, basically. So the first question, the first prompt that you have to do to yourself is, what facets of my childhood have I overlooked or otherwise need to reevaluate? And that's the first question. I wanted to start something light, right? So I'm using this deck. I bought it on the creator's Etsy shop. This one has a spelling mistake on the box, but it's from the creator. It's Sunbright Soul. It's linen, and it's super cute, and it's super mini. And I love this deck so much. So yeah, I used this deck for the first day. How couldn't I not, right? This deck is way cheaper, but it reminds me of oh, I forgot the name now. It always happens. When I hold a deck, it reminds me of this other deck, Playful Heart. Ah, thank you. Thank you. I didn't remember this at 3 in the morning. Playful Heart Tarot. It reminds me of that. It's not exactly, obviously, but it's the one that I could purchase because the other one is super expensive for me right now. So, number two is home life. So the question is, what aspect of my home life might I benefit from taking into consideration? So I thought of two different decks that shows like city life. Because well, basically I live in a city. I live in a city that is as busy as New York, basically. Buenos Aires is big. So these two decks reminded me of that, and I wanted to have like one light version, or you know, more hopeful deck, and the other one um it's the Urban Tarot. It's more, it's darker. This is Ukrainian deck that it came super fast to Argentina. They ship to all the world. You can purchase on their Etsy shop or on their website. It's an indie deck, right? So I want to do the opposites for the same question. And would you know, the same card was out on both decks. So yeah, you have it. So that's the proof that tarot works. So yeah, this everybody knows about this deck, right? I, I'm super I'm surprised by this deck. So I'm gonna try to do this fast so I don't steal too much of your time. Then the third question is mother. It's related to your mother. So it's, what element of the mother archetype might I benefit from considering? So I thought of two decks, but I finally used this one. I thought of using also the Hour Tarot, but I used this one. I love this deck. I have a walkthrough or like review of this deck, or first impressions. I don't know how I called it, but it's a beautiful deck. I think it's a must. The guidebook is not that amazing from what I think. It, I, well, don't hate me, but if they were collecting like art from women from all over the world, you might as well collect their thoughts. I don't know. I didn't want to say that. But yeah, I found this one on Rare Waves. But WeMoon has a website, only that I think they don't ship to Argentina. So let's get out of that. So the fourth is father. So the question is, what element of the father archetype might I benefit from considering? So I thought of two decks and I used them both on this question. These two decks, same publisher. I'm sure you know about these decks, but they looked like having a masculine energy. Please, if you do the challenge, let me know. I'm super curious. I love the gossip. And let me know what decks did you use. I know it's an old challenge. I know that it was from like 2015 or something like that. But I wasn't here doing tarot videos on that time or collecting tarot on that time. So yeah, I used this deck too. It has some like nudity, but it's a good deck. Next. Uh, mm, so then we have siblings. So the question is, what element of my childhood companionships might I benefit from exploring? And we are all sisters in my family. We are all women. So yes, you guessed it. This is the deck that I used for that day. I also thought of using our tarot, um, but I used this one. But another thing that I wanted to do is I didn't want to repeat myself using the decks. I did repeat at the end. Um, I did repeat myself, but I thought of challenging me by not repeating. But you know, there are some decks that I bond with better than others. And now we have upbringing. So, what aspect of my upbringing might I benefit from taking into consideration? So, one thing that I thought is, okay, what kind of family did I grow up with? So it's not exactly the same because it's pasta tarot. I grew up with pasta because half of my family is like from Italy and the other half is from Spain. So it's like um, it's something that I had to I had to use this deck. It has like a lot of rituals, and this guy looks like one of my grandfathers. Actually, now that I see him like that, he had that mustache. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, you know this deck, and this also this this image also reminded me. I could have used it for childhood, but we went a lot to a beach here in Buenos Aires, and we were like all the family together. It's not like my parents were taking only us into vacations, but since my grandfather had this house on the beach, everybody was together at the same time on the house of the beach. Yes, we don't have it anymore, obviously. And then mm, mm, the next one is culture. That there were a few days that I was confused on which deck to use because it was like the prompts were similar, or like were, yeah, similar would be the word. And this with upbringing, culture, religion, society, it was kind of a mess for a few things for me to do. And what I did was a mess. um so one of the decks that I used several times, sorry, I used this one several times because of the prompts, basically. This one goes also for culture. What aspect of my cultural conditioning might I benefit from taking into consideration? And together with upbringing, it was like, you know, and then the next one is religion. What aspect of my religious background might I benefit from taking into consideration? And then the other one is society. What aspect of my societal influence might I benefit from taking into consideration? So, like all of this, since upbringing into society, were like, I don't know, I was feeling the same way, so I did all of them the same day. And for most of the questions, I used this deck. This is an amazing deck. This is a Brazilian deck. I bought it in Brazil. I do speak Portuguese. I love Portuguese. I love Brazil. You can get it here. And this tarot deck, it's based on a book called Women That Run with the Wolves, which I also bought in Portuguese so that I could have everything in the same language. It's original in English, but it's a well-known book, and it has been translated into a lot of languages, I think. It's in Spanish too. It's in English original, and I bought an amazing hardcover edition in Portuguese. So, reading that book, look at this. This is the Ace of Coins or Pentacles, and it's because basically, well, if one card could describe those three questions, would be this one. Basically, I didn't get this one, but basically, what you hear, what you feed your ears, it's going to blossom, and it's going to go into your brain. So be careful for the things that you hear and the things that you tell to yourself. And I don't know, I could speak a lot about this because I really love this image and it brings me like a lot. I don't want to take much of your time, but this deck is amazing. It's a pity that it's not anywhere else. I couldn't find it here in Argentina. I couldn't have it shipped to Argentina. I had to go, well, I went on vacations to Brazil and it was my chance to have it. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else, but it's a great deck. This is the Tower. It has nudity, but it's great. And I've spoken a lot about this card already in other videos. But yeah, basically how we shaped or how we allow to shape ourselves to fit into society and all those kind of things. um yeah, but if you can, grab a copy of this deck. I have nothing to do with the creator. I don't get commission or anything, I just love it. Yeah, so I used this deck for those questions, but I also used this one for religion. That is, the question is, what aspect of my religious background might I benefit from taking into consideration? I have already read it, sorry. And I think they do have like a similar, but I don't know. It's not similar. I don't know how, but uh, this deck worked for me for that question. It blew my mind. That day was crazy because using I got this card that was up front. Um, and I got, I mean, it's two of discs, which is two of pentacles, and I got it in other decks that I used for questions that day. So it really wanted me to to listen to that. But yes, an amazing deck, and I think it could go for religion things, and I think it does work for like for Tarot das Lovas. And then another one that I love, and I have used it for the question about society, that says, I already read it, but since I said it super fast, I will say it again. What aspect of my societal influence might I benefit from taking into consideration? So I also picked this one. I could have used City Labyrinth, or I mean, I did use Tarot das Lovas, but I could have used the Urban Tarot or City Labyrinth, but I needed to be sharper. So I wanted this deck for that. I love this deck. I love the size. I love everything about this deck. And the guidebook is super insightful. Well, next, experiences. What past experiences have I repressed, glorified, or otherwise need to thoroughly process? For this one, I wanted to use something from the past, right? So this is where I used our tarot. I'm pretty sure you know about this deck. I think it was my first collage deck, and then I started buying a lot of collage decks. But this was my first collage deck. The box is huge because basically has to keep this book that is humongous. Is that the word? One is super huge, but I love it. Next, so the question is ego. What quality of my self-image might I benefit from evaluating? Evaluating. cannot speak. Evaluating. So for that one, I chose this one. And yeah, it told me to calm down. This was the one that I had for it. But it's a fantastic and lovely deck. And I think it works a lot for like self-image, right? For ego. Next. So next is fear. What fear or fears might I benefit from considering? So one of the decks that I was afraid of before before I had it in my hands was this one. And now that I own it, I'm in love with it. I made several videos. Nico sent me this guidebook that belongs to the other to the illustrated edition, because this one is the one that comes with the photographic one. It's an amazing deck. I love it, love it, love it. A few days ago, one person asked me, like, not to think, like, quick answer, which deck could that you couldn't be separated from, and I think it's this one. It's, I don't know, it feels, I love it. So this for fears. Basically it's about nightmares, right? So, and Nico explore his fears when he has sleep paralysis. He has these images, he has these experiences, and he's facing it, or he has faced them by doing recreating the images. And I have had several times sleep paralysis, and I don't recommend having it. It's not nice. It's not nice at all. Then what we have. So the other one is attachments. What attachments might I benefit from letting go of? I thought originally in the video that I did in Spanish, I thought I was going to use mandalas tarot, but I still cannot use it, even though I feel like it's an attachment because I cannot get rid of it, because I love the guidebook and I love the images of the cards, but I cannot use it because it's so um, um, flimsy, it's so thin. So I've used this again for attachments, and I have shown it, so I won't show it again. Yeah. Then aversions. So what aversions might I benefit from confronting? So I was going to use Somnia Tarot, the same that I used for fears, but then I realized that for aversions, I have aversion to a deck that I have. It's a weird aversion, um, aversion. Is this deck? Let me explain. If you have seen any of my videos, you know why. But this deck came into my life. I didn't know. Well, this was the card that I got. These two, actually. um, and I'm working on it. I got this deck. I bought this deck last year, sometime last year. I don't remember exactly when, but all through last year, I was having my dog, my old dog, agonizing. Basically, we were doing treatments and doing a lot of things, and nothing was working with her. She finally died in December last year, and this deck has a lot of dogs. And one card in particular, when I was doing the unboxing, like the same day or like the day before, I had my dog in that position. I'm trying to find. Well, my dog was similar to this, but at the same time was similar. It was a Brazilian fila, a mix. We adopted her. Where is it? Did I throw? Maybe I throw the card away. But when I was doing the unboxing, I started crying because that image reminded me of the day that I just had with my dog, basically. Maybe she doesn't want to show up. Yeah, this one. I know it's a breakthrough. I know Ace of Blades, but I just had that with my dog, and so I still have some feelings, some aversion of this deck, and this is the way that I had to using it was my way of confronting it, and I had to confront a lot of things, but the, the death of my dog is the thing that killed me the most last year, and still yeah, and it's not easy to use this deck, not only for that, but because of the size and because of the cards being so thick. Someone told me to trim it, but I don't want to screw it up, basically. But the guidebook is great too. It says a lot of information, a lot of things. It's well thought. It's just hard life, right? Okay, so habits. So the next question is habits, and is what habits might I benefit from analyzing? For that, I used this deck. This deck represents me in a lot of things, and a lot of things that I like, a lot of things that I want, uh, several places that I visited, or several places that I want to visit, or sports that I have done. Who hasn't played frisbee? I do like hiking. I feel like I have been there. I haven't, but there are places in the States that are super similar to Argentina. So there are a few cards here that I think of. This one, I, I see this and I see a lot of places from Argentina, even though I know that this is not. We have caves, caverns too. We have glaciers, one of the biggest in the world, I think. So we have like a lot of things from here and a lot of things that I want to do. I haven't ski. I would like to ski someday. But I do like to have my garden to take care of it. I didn't do windsurf, but I practiced surf. um, this is one place that I would love to go, Yosemite. I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. But this looks like a lot of places of Argentina. So for habits, I wanted to take to have this deck, to use this deck. I have done kayak, I have climbed. Sometimes I still do, my husband still does. But yeah, basically it represents me in a lot of ways that for habits I thought it was the best for me to use. Again, I would love to know your picks if you decide to do this challenge. Next, so ambitions. Which of my ambitions would benefit from reconsidering? And for ambitions, I used this deck that is about business. It's an amazing deck. I have shown it several times. I did an unboxing. I think it was my first Etsy purchase. It took like 4 months or more to get here. Not to get here, to get to me, because it got here super fast, but it was stuck in customs forever and I couldn't rescue it. I finally did. But yeah, it's a great deck for ambitions, I think. Then thought partners patterns thought patterns. So what quality of my thought patterns might I benefit from realizing? So for that one, sorry, I don't have my glasses. It's getting dark here and I cannot read a thing of what it says. Yeah, thought patterns. What quality of my thought patterns might I benefit from realizing? For this one, I have used the perfect imperfect Sasurabito. I love this deck so much. I cannot believe that. I don't know. I think everybody should have it. I love this deck. I love everything about this deck. And I think it's pretty mental on the mind. I mean, you can use it for any question, obviously, but I think it reflects well the thoughts patterns. I think that I don't know how to explain. Next, belief systems. So for this is what aspects of my belief system might I benefit from contemplating. So belief systems. I believe in tarot. um, I don't believe on organized religion, basically, but I do believe in energies and all this. Obviously, I wouldn't be here. So, for these questions, I use this. I used it on other questions too, but because in some cases I used more than one deck. And go figure, they all say the same thing. The same card comes out on every deck you use sometimes for the same question. So yeah. So I think it's a super well done deck. I can't believe it's mass market. I love it. And the guidebook is the greatest. One of the greatest, not the greatest, one of the greatest. I should rank it, but I don't know. I don't want my other good guidebooks to fight each other. But I really, really, really love this deck. Do you have it? Do you have any of these decks? Please let me know your experiences and if you have would have chosen the deck for that question. Okay, then desires. When I read the word desired, desires, I thought only of one deck without reading the question. So let me read you the question, and it's which of my desires would I benefit from exploring? And this is one desire that I explored. Obviously, all of my decks are, but um, I'm a fan of Neil Gaiman and his work. I have like a lot of his books. I know there's something going on right now. I haven't read much about it. I just want to enjoy my collection of Neil Gaiman things. Um, I don't want to get into reality. I just want to. I'm here to enjoy things. Decks basically. So this deck is basically fan work, fandom, right? Hodgman did it, and I was talking a lot to him on Etsy and then on Instagram, and I ended up buying it. Yeah, I love it. I love the deck. In some of the characters, I might have second thoughts, second opinions. How do you say that? But for most of the characters, I think it's great. And it's an amazing deck. It's a deck that I desired a lot. I was afraid of for that it would get stuck in customs. I brought it. I paid somebody to buy it on the States when she was traveling, and she brought it to me. So basically, it was easier for me to get to make sure that I was going to get this deck. So yeah, it was a super desire because it was a little bit more expensive than I would have buy, but I really wanted to have it. And one desire that I have for this deck is to do a video with my collection of the comics of Sandman. I have the comics and I have the books, the omnibus, I think it's called. It's three huge tomes. Like, let me show you. It's super big. This is part one. But I also have the comics that you can actually read. This one is more of a collection. So what I wanted to do is a walkthrough with the characters and and the and the comic, basically. So this is one of the cards actually. These two characters. But yeah, there is another deck that is Vertigo, that it has all of the well, I don't have words now. Well, it has all of this together in cards size. But yeah, it's a huge thing. So that's me exploring my desires. So then, current condition, it's what quality of my current condition is being most heavily impacted by my subconscious. So for this one, I used this deck. And I also used this other one. Let me show you this one first. I'm sure you know about it. I have a lot of decks right now surrounding me. But yeah. When I bought this deck, I was between this one and Tarot of Mystical Moments, but this one won. Do you think I should get the other one too? I mean, I feel like they have kind of the same energy, but let me know your thoughts if you're listening to me. That would be great. And why on earth would I use Hoodoo Tarot in current condition? And the question is, what quality of my current condition is being most heavily impacted by my subconscious? And basically, since I received this deck, I received it after purchasing it and waiting for a long time, but we are used to here. So this deck is impacting. I had to put this because otherwise it wouldn't. It's from Nicolas, but I have to. So it has impacted me since I received it. It is sharp. It is, and it has a lot of information to learn from. I bought also the workbook, so I have a lot to work with. It's super insightful too. Well, now relationships. So, what about my relationships might I benefit from evaluating? And for relationships, I used this one that basically is relationship, but I don't have issue. I mean, I do have issues basically. Yeah, I do. My issue is with myself, um, in a way that I don't know really well how to relate to people. It's not something that I have learned from this deck. I knew it from a long time. It's hard for me to keep friendships or to keep up with friendships, or I mean, I'm a low maintenance friend. Basically, it's okay for me if you don't write me in a year or two. I don't care. I mean, if you're okay and you don't need me or you don't want to talk to me, it's okay. And I'm that way too. I mean, I don't feel like a friendship should be like talking every day or like sharing everything every single minute. um I feel like a friendship is something that doesn't require my maintenance. Why did I choose that word? It's so difficult for me to use to say it. Maintenance. Maintenance. Okay. So the the hard part of the relationships that I struggle with is to make people understand that it's okay if you don't talk to me every day. I don't need to be reached out every single day. And I won't reach out everybody every single day. There's no way of me doing that. I no. Um I'm easygoing. I mean, I don't know if I'm easygoing. Um I struggle sometimes because I overshare, obviously, and I'm oversharing right now. But for me, a relationship has to be time proof. I mean, and not not the word that I want to use, but I think you understand what I mean, right? Mm, I have like my best friend from high school. I think we speak like twice a year and everything it's okay, and we speak a lot of things, and then we forget about each other for a long time, and then when we speak again, everything it's okay. It's not like I require to be spoken to every single day. So I it's hard for me to have friendships that if you don't show up every day or if you don't do everything together, the relationship disappears. I cannot. So yeah, I wanted to know what about my relationships might I benefit from evaluating, but yeah, I think it's a balance. Justice came out on that question, and yeah. Then projections. So, what do my projections say about me? So, for projections, I used this one. I'm sure everybody knows about this deck. I will love it a lot. It's weird, I know. But I think it's suits the question. What do you think? Then we have reflections, and it's what do my reflections say about me? And I used this again. I'm not going to show it again. And then shadow, it says what aspect of my shadow might I benefit from working with? And for that one, I used this. It's the second edition. It's a great deck. It's dark, but it also has some of the most beautiful images that I have seen, like this one. I truly love this High Priestess. So that's the 24 question that it has, but it's a 31 day. Uh, so I'm not sure why they created the challenge with 24 things. When you actually go to the challenge that is here on maskingthedivine.tumblr.com, you will see it on the description box. um, it is actually 31 days of work that you have more things to answer yourself or to talk to yourself. So I thought it was a super interesting challenge, and now I kind of miss it because each day I was working with a different deck. I was using my tools. I was like, you know what I mean? I need like another challenge right now that I can commit to and use my decks. So I'll see if I find another one that I like, and I will let you know once I do it or fail on it. Let me know. Let me know if you're listening here, if you're still here. Let me know what you think, and if you know any other challenge that might be good for me to use several decks to get to know my decks. Otherwise, I will continue like learning my decks with their guidebooks and the spread that they have. So that's the other option. But yeah, it was fun to do. It was super insightful, and I loved doing it. Let me know your thoughts on this. See you in the next video. Thank you for being there. Please like, share, subscribe, and all those things that makes channels grow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye bye.